What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the AMC Live. This is your old buddy Mike from the Scale Model Outlaw, and right below me is a really cool character, and his name is what?
Jason from Klein Race Car Designs.
That's him. And then that guy that's over here. Oh, well, wait. I got it backwards. There we go. Over there, wherever he is. That is our awesome producer. And who are you, Mr. Awesome Producer Guy?
I be Bruce from Bruce's Eclectic World.
The guy that makes this happen, for sure. Right, we got that figured out. I can't point at him correctly because the camera's backwards, but he's definitely the guy that makes it happen for us. Well, absolutely. Welcome, everybody. Looks like the chat's already blowing up. We got Chris from the House of Plastic, Tiffany from Dirt Road Cinderella, Papa Z's in here, Paul's in here, Mike's Mods and Customs. We got a whole dadgum bunch. Mark, got a whole bunch in here.
Yeah, Grandpa Mark too, Mike Dawson.
Yeah, we got a bunch of them in there.
Welcome,
tonight,
everybody.
We got a really, really cool guest. We'll call him an up and coming, but man, he's really blowing up the YouTube right now, right? I mean, he's on everybody's stuff. Everybody's talking about him. He's doing great work, and we want to go ahead and just get him out here so everybody can see him. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe from Big Sky
Model Workshop.
Model Workshop. That's it. Big Sky Model Workshop. Bring him. There he is.
There he is.
Let me apologize. Let me apologize for not remembering the whole title to your channel.
That's all right. How's it going, everybody?
How you doing tonight, Joe?
Welcome to the show, my friend. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Doing good. Good. It's awesome to be on tonight, guys. Thank you.
All the pleasure's all ours.
Like? Yeah, definitely. I agree with Jason that it's our pleasure. Thank you for being on with us tonight. What's the weather like in the Big Sky State?
Well, we're getting ready for some freezing rain, actually, and then it'll be about 15 degrees come Sunday.
And he's sending it my way. What kind of
course
is that?
Because I like to share.
You know, this morning, living here in Central Florida. This morning I woke up and I was like, it's a little chilly out, because we just now shut the air conditioner off. And I went outside and it was 67 degrees. I was like, I got to get my hoodie. I put my hoodie on. It was cold. I shivered all the way to work. It was cold.
67. Wow.
Oh my God.
67. Yeah. It was horrible. It was horrible.
How do you survive?
I know.
How does it work? I couldn't make it to work at 67 degrees. I'm like, who works in this weather? Right? It's cold. This is freezing.
It's still short weather here in the 40s. I mean, that's good.
Oh man.
You guys, I grew up in Vermont. I say I grew up in Vermont. I left Vermont when I was about 13 or 14, and that white stuff and that sure enough cold. I do miss ice fishing. I do love to go ice fishing. I do miss that. But the rest of it, no, you can have it. Once I got out of school and had to go to work and realized what working in that weather was like, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. Cut me off. I'm going back to Florida.
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold up here.
This isn't horrible. I'm kind of used to that stretch of cold. I did a hitch in North Dakota, and that's even worse. So it's all perspective.
What kind of did you work in the oil fields in the Dakotas?
Yeah, I did a hitch over in the oil field as a mechanic, and so when it's 35 below straight temperature and the wind chill's 62 below, and you're trying to get a diesel to start that they've absolutely murdered after they filled it full of starting fluid and prayed.
Yeah.
This isn't so bad.
I could see. Yeah, you're making comparisons there. I not to chase rabbits, but I had an opportunity to go up there, a heavy equipment operator myself, and back in the day, I had a chance to go up there, and the guy was telling me that they early on when they were first getting, at least when it first started getting popular, maybe not when they first started, but when it was first getting popular, he was telling me like they leave the machines running all night long. And that way there they wouldn't have that problem.
Oh yeah.
And it was cheaper.
They do up here
to put the diesel in them to try to fire it off. Yeah. What's new?
Yeah,
in
absolutely. I
Yeah.
used to service the flameless rig heaters and stuff, and those would just run constant. You shut them off long enough to change the oil, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yep. But Steven's,
Hey, TJ.
Steven's very much right. What's going on in the modeling world? Well, tonight we can't speak to anything new that's going on in the modeling world, but we will talk about what we're doing individually in this little live. Well, let's start with our guest. What are you working on tonight, Joe?
I'm going to crack into a fresh one here. I'm going to jump into Lucas C's old goat group build. I'm a glutton, so I'll just dive into the MPC 67 GTO.
Nice. Now, how many of y'all watched the latest Scale Model Car podcast? We all know that if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it and check it out. The new Scale Model Car podcast has changed the name of that particular kit.
Oh, really?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
now called the GTO shit. Thanks to Chuck.
Thanks to Chuck.
Yeah, I was giving him brief on one of the Facebook pages for it. He's like, I think I won the contest. I'm like, bottles have to be intact until December 31st.
Hey, Frank, how you doing, buddy?
There he
Hi,
is. Yep. Frank, welcome back to the YouTube world, man. It's so good to see you. We were worried about you. We were concerned about you. It's so good to see you back on here, my brother. And you are way behind on your public relations stuff for me. So call me, bro. I got some people that are aggravating me. I need you to get you back on the job.
Yeah.
He gave
Hey,
us a
Terry.
great shout out on his channel too. So thank you for that, Frank. For real, thank you for that, my friend.
Yeah.
So what do you guys got for Joe? I've been hogging it up because that's what I do. Joe, if you don't know, I'm like the mouth of the and Jason's the great question asker. He's the brains of the outfit, and Bruce is our genius. But
Look
I'm
at
just
Bruce.
the guy that takes up space. So
Look at Bruce.
let me shut up long enough for these guys to get a word in.
Well, tonight we're going to work some more on the Blue Ox Model Shop group build. That's the 55 Chevy. That's what's
What
live
about
on
you,
my
Bruce?
bench.
And I'm still working on this 53 Ford pickup truck. I'm not going to hold the box up. I hold the instructions.
Well, I'm
But I got
gonna
stuff in the
jump on.
box.
I'm gonna jump on board with Jason. I too am working on my Blue Ox Model Shop group build because I'm like way behind.
Yeah.
And I've been working on it. If you guys saw my video, you know that I said I was going to keep it simple, and I did not. I absolutely back halved it. You know, keep it simple, get it done in time. No, what do? I back half it. I back half the interior. I wanted to produce something cool for my buddy.
Heck yeah.
Oh. Well, we're going to switch over to our benches and take a look at what we're doing. All right.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Jason's leading the show here. He was like, all right, we're going to work on our stuff.
He already swooched.
Right? He's got two cameras because he's cool like that. I'm not that cool.
Right.
I have to readjust my camera. So you guys get to see my arms and my hands, but you don't get to see my wait,
I got
if
three.
get
You
all
want
the way
one?
down here, you can see my face.
Yeah, about same.
There's my face.
There he is.
I got my phone on a $20 Amazon phone stand. I am high tech.
$20, you big spender.
Wow.
Oh
I
yeah.
spent like 12 for mine.
I got mine at the Dollar Tree.
Guys, my wife is gonna find this out and go, how come you spent so much?
I have to save all my money for those demons at Hobby Lobby, so I have to cheap out on my electrical equipment.
Well, hopefully they will keep getting those posters set out to everybody else.
All the Hobby Lobbies.
Yeah. I mean, so far Montana is safe. It'll get there soon enough, I hope.
Well, you gave him enough posters, right, Joe?
Yeah, I got posters. We'll get them sent to corporate.
Okay.
Have you seen this guy?
Yeah, yep. Have you seen this man? Do not sell him any Dusters, Demons, or other Chrysler, Dodge, or Plymouth products. Please report him immediately to security.
That's funny. I don't care. You slice it.
Well, at my local Hobby Lobby, they're like, Jason hasn't. They got a sign out front that says Jason hasn't been here yet. So I'm like, cool. We get to find some stuff.
They need to put a sign up kind of like Krispy Kreme does with the Hot and Ready's, like Jason isn't here.
Put a line out front, right?
That's funny.
You can't say Krispy Kreme to a fat kid, especially a fat kid in the South, because those Krispy Kremes are like my pride. I love to go. I'll wait for that light to be on, and I'll come skating in there. I've actually laid underneath the conveyor belt, and as they fell off the conveyor belt, they just landed on my face. I loved them. I love Krispy Kreme.
Well, I know the camera doesn't do it justice, but I didn't get this figure by making sensible eating choices.
Right.
My food pyramid has like cheese and fried at the top.
My girl, who's very healthy and eats the right stuff, she told me I eat like a 10-year-old. Chicken nuggets, tater tots, Vienna sausages, Oreo cookies. Apparently, I'm not eating very well.
I don't really see a problem in that at all.
Right?
I'm sitting here counting my fingers. I don't see anything wrong with that either.
No.
You guys forgot the bowl of ice cream.
That's what I'm waiting on.
What flavor tonight, Jason?
I don't know yet. I haven't been in there. I just ate dinner, so I'll do that after the show. I don't want Bruce to start drooling over there.
Yeah, that happens.
Maybe mint chocolate chip. That's probably
Oh
a good
man.
choice.
Great choice. My personal favorite.
Yeah.
It has all my favorite flavors.
The cookie dough is pretty hard to get around here. The wife and the kid usually chow down the cookie dough stuff.
Yeah. It's safe because my littles here, they'll be like, I don't want the toothpaste flavored ice cream. I'm like, more for me.
Toothpaste flavored ice cream.
That's
like
a
it's
first.
strategic. Out of the mouths of kids, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They weren't joking about the grill fit on this GTO, were they?
No.
No.
No,
Wow.
they were not playing.
It was
playing.
Ray Charles fit that one, I think. I think he might have created the molds for this.
Well, it's my understanding, and I'm going to quote Matt from Lucas E. Back in the day when that mold was still new, it was great, but now not so much. But that sparks the question. We've had this conversation before, and to get your opinion, Joe. Obviously, I think I know what your opinion is because you bought the kit. But is it the difference between an assembler and a builder, right?
Right.
Right. So if it's difficult, it's a challenge, and a challenge is a good thing.
Exactly. It's so much more rewarding. It's not during the process. I mean, I'll never be able to record an actual build session because that's probably NC-17. But the finished product makes it totally worth it.
Right.
I did not put up the adult language disclaimer on this one.
Yeah. It's not.
We're safe here.
Night. It's not a Rob Adams night, so we
No,
throw that up there first.
We're safe here. I think my kids are watching upstairs. I mean, they've heard that stuff, but let's in case there's any other young builders out there.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Exactly.
So while we're all here working on our stuff, Joe, you're relatively, I say relatively new, and I don't mean it in any kind of disrespect, but You're kind of
Oh
relatively
no.
new to the scene. How long have
Yeah.
you been on the YouTubes?
I started July 7th
Of this year.
of this year.
Wow, you're growing like a wild weed, buddy. You're doing some great stuff up there.
I appreciate
Tell us
that.
a little. While we're all working on our stuff, tell us a little bit about. I know you come from a race car thing, and tell us a little bit
Uh-huh.
about that and what got you over here into the modeling side.
Sure. So I mean, I've been a car guy. I mean, my entire life. And I actually used to build when I was a kid. I actually built my first glue kit, I think, when I was 7.
Nice.
Like I still remembered it was an MPC El Camino, and I made the most horrific glue bomb you've ever seen out of it. But
Didn't we all?
and then I built into the mid 90s. Like I started getting copies of Scale Auto when they actually had it at the grocery store. And I mean, mind you, I live in a little town, like 5,000 people. So having that stuff was a big deal. And there was actually a hobby shop at that time, and the sporting goods store in town sold models and stuff. And so I built into my teens, and then as soon as I got old enough to get into the full size stuff, I kind of it all kind of went by the wayside, and started racing and doing all of that. But in the last few years, had a couple of work injuries that kind of were derailing stuff. And I always had like a winter hobby. Like I restored Hot Wheels for a while, and I restored Tonkas for a while, but I always just kind of kept wanting to get back into model building. And so in the last, I don't know, about a year ago, I sold off most of the Tonka stuff and started buying a bunch of monogram NASCAR kits, and then said, well, I should probably branch out into further than that. And so kind of just started building again. And the idea kind of came up more or less from my kids. They thought it'd be really cool if I got on and did YouTube. So we literally just bought a phone stand and just threw a video out. We kind of planned a couple things like what I would kind of do in the future or whatnot, and just kind of went for it. And I think the second video I did was Sunday morning model cars and coffee, which then Paul shared my channel. And then from there, I just was just rolling.
Right. So prior to creating a YouTube, did you watch any of the YouTube channels? Did you know about them?
I did. It's funny. The first two that I found was Matt, Lucas C, and then I found Chris at HPI Guys.
Yeah.
At least, well, Matt for sure is the biggest, and then the HPI guy, and I think there's some other guys that are big like that, and then from there, it's funny because like for me, it was the same thing. It was Lucas C, and then that opened the doors to a lot of different stuff that led to where we are today. I've only been back in the hobby for, well, we're going into 2025, so the January 1 will be the beginning of my 3rd year back into the hobby. So,
oh yeah, the car that I shared in that Sunday morning model cars and coffee was the first car I had built since, oh gosh, like 1999. And I had just finished it it's actually kind of funny. The main reason I started doing that again was so that I would quit watching so much football because I'm not the world's best football fan where you kind of let the outcome of the games dictate your mood for the day. So my wife suggested I should find something else to do, and she's absolutely right. And so that's kind of how this all snowballed.
Well, and it's funny how it does that. And, oh, sorry, Bruce.
Just for the folks out there that do not know, Jimmy changed his Mountain Dew channel to Jimmy's Chop Shop.
Nice. Jimmy's Chop Shop. All right.
Yep. He changed that a day or two ago, I believe. Rhonda.
I'm sorry. I
want to make that public service announcement for Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Make sure you guys head on over there, like, subscribe, say hi.
Absolutely.
Jimmy does some really nice builds. He really does.
We got Mr. Chuck from Styrene Bender's Garage is in the house. I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't paying attention to the chat. Mike's mom is here. Jimmy's Chop Shop. What's up, y'all?
I gotta apologize. I can't
Rhonda's
follow
here.
along with the chat.
I know, right?
Right.
That's what I'm supposed to be doing, but I haven't been. I've been
Miss
saying
Rhonda's
on
in
this.
there.
I've been
My,
saying on this keep it simple stupid thing, and I didn't keep it simple with it.
Miss
Well, I got
Rhonda's. You
my
missed that.
phone. I'm looking here.
Listen,
Yeah, I don't have the chat. Now, well,
Hey, Jimmy, go see 60 Rules latest video. He talked up spray cans really good. He does a good job, just like you do, spray cans.
I
Mr.
just
Mark,
Big-
Mr. Mark
big box.
Batson's in the house. Hey, Mr. Mark, how you doing, sir?
Hello.
Good to see you.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
just for the record, the Thunderbird on my shop card is painted with the R word.
R word.
Wow.
Hey, no, well, you say Rust-Oleum, right? Oh,
I
okay.
didn't say that.
Listen, that's one of those.
I'm a rebel.
Hot topics. It's a hot topic.
It is.
If you can make it work and it makes you happy, good for you. Good for you.
Use it. I
Use
use
it.
it.
And, you know, and it is what it is. Everybody has their own choice, their own flavor. I mean, it is what it is. Do what you want to do. Whatever makes you happy, we're happy for you.
Yeah, I think somebody, and I forget who said it. It might have been Frank even. Kind of brought it up. It's some guys would get back into the hobby, and the first thing you would go see is something like HPI guys and see him lay down paint or do whatever, and then you'd go and grab something like Rust-Oleum, knowing that it doesn't lay down like a hobby paint, and sometimes it's a little hot, or like that 2X comes out twice as heavy, which is why it lays down the way it does sometimes, and then you get discouraged because it didn't turn out like you thought it should, and then it kind of gets a bad name. I mean, if you prime and take your time and stuff, I mean, anything will work. I mean, for every guy who says don't touch that junk, you'll see somebody lay down a beautiful job using a can of Ace, whatever.
The 99-cent paint from Ace. And the real truth is, like I said, if it makes you happy, good for you.
Yeah.
There's different levels for everybody. There's different choices for everybody. If you're good with it, move on with it. I got asked that same question at Acme, and of course, I'm sitting at a table with some extremely very good builders. I mean, you got BG's there, you got Mr. Mark was there, you got I mean, there's some awesome builders there, and certainly. You progress in your builds and if you want to get better and you want to be competitive and you want, certainly there's all kinds of things that you can do, and paint being one of them that you can improve on, right? My paint jobs, I use the best paint that I think that's on the market, and my paint jobs still look like golf balls. So it's not the paint, it's the person laying it down and how they lay it down. So it's your skills.
There's probably somebody who could take a mouthful of craft paint, spit it at a body, and have it lay down and win awards. Right. It's just a talent thing. But speaking of, I'm going to start upping things a little bit. I went ahead and bought myself an airbrush.
Nice.
Ooh,
so
the new airbrush.
Yeah, the new gallery with the little compressor. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I got to order some paint still before it gets too cold and start experimenting a little bit. But I might actually experiment with some of the Tamiya and some of the testers and stuff that I have here in the meantime. But
yeah, the Tamiya stuff, especially if you mix it 50-50 with unicorn tears, I've had really, really good luck with that. But, and we have a gallery representative here with us tonight. Mr. Jason is
yes.
A great gallery representative. And if I may, Jason, you just put out an awesome video about that the gallery airbrush. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's the 98, the GHAC 98D. That's kind of their premium. Well, the Mobius is their premium button, but this one here is kind of their ace. Before the Mobius came out, I think it's gonna kind of be their new replacement for economy line, really, because you look at the machine quality, The type of material on the needles are more polished than the GH80 39. I think it's going to be a really good brush. And then you look at the price point on it. It's really not bad for the money. It really isn't. So I recommend everybody to go, especially Black Friday. If you're looking to get into a starter brush, that's the brush to try. And I think November 22nd is going to be their Black Friday start sales, and they could have some products up to 42% off. So that's going to be huge savings.
That's awesome. I was actually looking at a 68 because I prefer a trigger style brush.
Talking about the 68, that's what I moved up to when I got out of the when I finally started getting real airbrushes. I got away from the Harbor Freight. I still use the Harbor Freight compressor, which works great, but I bought that whole kit from, is it anti? Jason, you might know. There's a whole kit with the airbrush and all that, so that's what I started with when I got back in the hobby. And when I stepped up, I got to the 68, which I still use the 68 for my primer. And then I went to their Swallowtail for the for my paint, for my actual color paint. And then Jason was kind enough to hook me up with a Black Widow
Spectrum from Harbor Freight.
Spectrum. Thank you, Jason. And I use that for my clear. So I'm fortunate enough now to have a brush for everything. But the 68's a great brush. I love it. The only reason I'm looking at the Mobius is, for like really, really detailed stuff. I think that Mobius brush would be really good for detail stuff.
See, me personally, I love the button style brushes for doing parts. Rear ends, blocks, stuff like that, because you're conserving paint and you're getting more of the paint on the actual little part. Versus the trigger ones, you kind of set them up to get a good fan spray to do your bodies. So you're kind of a little more wasteful on paint if you're going to just use it to paint rear ends and heads and blocks. And
Sure.
So, and I've got this little 36 that came with this. The problem I kind of have is just this finger doesn't quite bend like it's supposed to. So it got pancaked once years ago, and it just doesn't work right. So that's kind of the dilemma I have. It seems to be okay with this, but that was my main thing, is if I could find something with a trigger. That would be a little more matter.
If you've got some wire and a 9-volt battery, you could just tape a battery right here on your wrist and then stick it in that finger, and you can just shock yourself to push the button.
Oh my gosh. Actually, in part of my rehab process of things from surgeries, they actually do that dry needling where they put the needles in and then they hook it. Yeah. Your fingers will do some pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah. They did that to me when I had carpal tunnel, and I couldn't even move my right hand and my fingers or anything. And they're doing that with these probes, and it was like moving my hand. I'm like, oh my God, what the heck are you doing?
Apparently, I like to use my middle finger a lot because that finger was moving a bunch.
So talking about compressors, I'm getting ready to upgrade mine only because that poor old Harbor Freight one, I've got the goodie out of it. It still works great, and I'm just gonna have one ready for backup. But have any of y'all on the cam or in the chat use that new battery compressor all-in-one thing? I've got one from Spray Gunner. And I've used it a couple times just to test it out and had really, really good luck with it, right? I mean, I don't know if I would paint a body with it, but like Jason was saying, for a fine detail brush, doing motors and, maybe putting some, some rough looks or, whatever you wanted to do with it. It works great for that. I've sprayed spoons with it, but that little compressor is really cool because you can like put it in your pocket or set it on the side of your bench, put a cord off of it, and it's no compressor, just a little battery pack with a compressor built in, and it holds pressure pretty good. But I don't know if I'd run like a number 5 or 0.5 needle through it or something like that. It might not be able to keep up then.
Like,
no.
that's all that this little one that just came in, that's all the bigger that is.
That's,
I don't think you want to put it in your pocket, but
yeah, that's the new gallery there. I know Manny from Manny's Models. He's used it, and he raves about that little air compressor deal right there that Joe just had.
Yeah,
yeah,
Mark over
it was
Grandpa
his
Mark's
video
holiday.
that sold me on it, honestly.
Yeah.
I watched his video on it. I actually had my wife watch it with me, and she's like, "That's really cool. Get it." Because otherwise, I was either going to get like a pancake one or try to run the airline from out in the garage down into the basement, which just isn't practical.
Well, the longer the line, the more chance of condensation too. So you got to have that filter at both ends. But
Exactly.
Mark was just saying that the number 2 Mobius is the best detail airbrush he's ever used. So that's cool.
The Mobius, I think, is their top line as far as that detail goes.
Mark just said it'll run at 0.7 with no problems.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
That's what he said.
Sweet.
Hey.
Good to know.
And it's so quiet, he says.
You know,
What is up, Sarge?
What's going on, Sarge?
It's Sarge.
There's Papa Z in the house. We saw him earlier.
Yeah.
Good old Papa Z.
Don't sound so disappointed.
No, we're not disappointed. We're always glad to hear from Papa Z. Listen, I got Skeletor. I still got Skeletor right here next to my bench. Him and rest his soul, Terry Senior is watching me on everything that I do, and they're usually disappointed.
Terry Senior, why is he disappointed in you?
I got his card here, the Hobby Barn card.
Oh,
that he sent me maybe a couple months before he passed, and I put him up. I got most of them. You guys can't see them now, but if you see my videos, most of my shop cards are behind me on the door. But that's the one shop card that looks over me and watches everything I do. So I try to behave when he's watching.
I miss old Terry.
What a great guy. What a great guy. The glue that held this thing together for sure. What a great guy.
Yeah.
There's mine, Mike.
There it is. Mine's right here watching me. I got it pinned up, so I'm not going to take it down, but I got it pinned up. It's like every time I feel like I'm getting out of hand, I look over and he's like, I'm like, okay, sorry.
I knew it was right here. I cleaned my bench. I couldn't find it.
Sarge, hope you're doing well as well. Enjoyed your show for the little bit that I could hang out on Monday. I had a lot going on and wanted to stop in and say hey to you guys on Monday when you had your show going on. Thanks for stopping in and saying hey. He was a good guy, man. I've told this story before, but Terry Senior was the first guy that ever said scale model outlaw on YouTube besides me. He was that guy, right? When you went on to the lives or whatever, he would interrupt anybody that was talking, and no matter what the conversation was about, and he'd be like, "Hey, we got a new guy on here," and so. Hey, how you doing? You know, what a great guy. Definitely miss him, but I'm sure he's watching and looking over all of us, making sure we're behaving ourselves.
Or he's laughing his ass off.
Most likely he's laughing his ass off going, what the hell? What the hell?
Yeah, he was the one that he welcomed me in when I first started, and then he was the one that privately emailed me right away and asked me if I had shop cards, and I'm like, what the heck's a shop card?
Right? Yep.
He said, well, he goes, I'll send you one of mine and you can see what they consist of. He goes, it's basically a trading card that the modeling community does. So then I started watching more videos and I'm like, oh yeah, there is this thing called shop cards. So
Yeah.
I had one made, and Terry was the first one to get my shop card.
I actually remember that when you came on. I was at that point. I'm pretty sure I was stalking back then, because I'm like you, Jason. We about came on about the same time. I think if we've done our math together, but I was listening and whatever, and he did me the same way. He's like, "Listen, you got to. This is what you need to do. Here's one of mine," and boom, 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 boom. And I was like, "What a great guy, man! This is a great guy."
Yeah. Yep, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
miss that guy for sure.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith said, "I for one miss that buzzard.
Yeah.
He was quick to tell you about your ass. He really would. He would tell you about yourself. If you messed up, he'd be the first one to tell you, but he'd also be the first one to welcome you. So, what a great guy."
Well, and the sad thing is that the modeling community has lost quite a few gentlemen in the last couple years, really,
Mhm.
great builders.
Yeah, sadly, you're right. You see that, and so, and I'm not going to point out anybody, but you're right. This one, you see it on Facebook. This one, is passed or whatever, and it's sad because, and that's what happens, though. I mean, that's what's happening. I should say is a lot of these guys have been in the hobby forever, and they've made a presence, but it took them a long time to get there, and people are getting old, so we gotta figure out what we can do to get young people in here, or younger people in here, to try to get them to carry on the hobby. The hobby's not dying. I don't think the hobby's dying at all. If the hobby was dying, then like people like Round Two would not be buying up all these molds and doing what they're doing.
No, not at all. It's definitely not dying. I think it's probably grown quite a bit in the last few years.
I would say so. Now, I think for young people, it's changing. So because there's the car culture is not what it was 20 years ago. It's certainly not what it was 40 years ago. But
No.
now, like these Gundams and this and that sort of thing, that's different. It's not necessarily what we're into, but it should be accepted and welcomed, I think, just because it's still glue and styrene going together.
Yeah,
What do you guys think?
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We,
they're putting paint on it.
That's it.
It still shows your artistic creativity,
Right.
Yeah.
The big thing that I was very interested to learn was when we had Rob Adams on, and those guys explain how the military stuff is dominant across the seas.
The military stuff has always been, well, only probably, I'm not saying only, and I'm doing, reaching into my little bit of knowledge that I have, and I'm like reaching the pennies out of the bottom of the jar. But the military stuff, if I'm not mistaken, was the original stuff, because that's what, because you're talking World War II, the airplanes and that sort of thing is where it kind of got started. And then, so the cars came on after that, but the military stuff has always, always, always been the dominant, especially in IPMS shows, right? That's how it got started, right? Overseas, the military stuff. Now, it's my understanding that the cars are getting competitive with that sort of thing, but those tank guys and those airplane guys, those guys that have been doing it for a long time, it's going to be hard to beat those guys with their knowledge and their skills, because they've been doing it a long time. But the military thing is really cool, and that's another avenue for people to pursue, if for nothing else, than to learn a new technique, a new style. That's what Rob Adams brought to the table, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, especially like the weathering. Like their weathering skills are phenomenal. There's a lot to learn from them, especially things like rusting and mud effects and things.
Yep, absolutely. And that's That's the big reason why I'm joining their turkey shoot next week, is just to try something out of my, comfort, and then to try and practice with some weathering and just some freehand airbrush work on a model. I think that's going to be very beneficial for me to learn some more technique.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought about grabbing something to jump in, but I only have about a day of those 4 days to do anything. And I mean, really, honestly, everything I'm working on right now is out of my comfort zone. So
Yeah.
At this point, since I've gotten back, I went from building. I mean, when I stopped building, I was building nothing but monogram NASCAR kits and AMT 454 SSs, building sport trucks. That I mean, I've messed with a resin body, and I've messed with 3D parts, and like a little bit of everything at this point. Like literally everything I touch is out of my comfort zone right now.
Yeah, like Stephen Kessel said, give us a big thumbs up there. Smash that like button.
Yes.
Please.
It is criminal that there's only about 125 subscribers to this channel.
Yeah, it's growing. I mean, it takes time, right? You got to be patient, but
I mean, one of my favorite things is the chat. The chat is a blast, which unfortunately I can't see it tonight because my phone does everything. But hey, everybody.
Phone does everything.
Literally, so like when I make a video, Bruce, I throw this phone on the stand, I record, and then I take a picture, and then I chuck it onto YouTube. Like there's no editing, nothing. It's like that's one of the next things I need to start working on. Maybe is a better camera, and I make a video about 10 to 12 minutes long, and then my phone starts complaining.
I do the same thing. I use my phone to make the videos, and I think it definitely shows in my videos. It's a telephone.
And it's one of the things I always worry about. It's like, man, I should really start editing and get a better camera and some better lighting, and like
that requires a laptop or
a
computer.
Yeah.
So
then I got to fight the kids for the laptop, or I got to buy another one that cuts into my kit budget. We just can't have that.
No,
I got to keep up with Jason.
Yeah,
sometimes there's sacrifices.
Yeah.
No, I actually need to upgrade, get a bigger workspace before I start worrying about that, I think.
That's my goal as well, Joe. After the first of the year, I got a couple things I got to take care of. But after the first of the year, I've been kicking the ball around for 6 months now. But after the first of the year, I'm going to get a 16 by 40 wooden, one of them little wooden, not little, it's a big one, but those pre-built buildings.
Yeah.
I'm getting one of those, putting it outside, and then I got a friend that's in the construction business as far as, house construction. Mm-hmm. And Jason don't know it yet, but I want to buy him a plane ticket. He's going to come down and wire it. And
put the AC unit in.
Put the AC unit in, and in Florida, I gotta have an AC unit. But we're gonna make that happen after the first of the year. Now that doesn't mean January 1 it's all gonna be ready to go. It just means January 1 I want to get the building out here, and then once I get the building out here, I'll get some help getting it done. But I'm gonna move everything out there, the production studio, the everything, and just because it's going to get it out of where I'm at. Like this is my room. My girl and I snore like a grizzly bear. I don't know if you know this. So I snore like a grizzly bear, and my girl's like, "I love you. I think the world of you, but you have to sleep in another room." So this is a hobby room / my bedroom, and so when I move that out there, I'll get my bedroom back. But I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that, to have it all out there. But
this is a coal room in this house. This house is 113 years old now.
I remember.
Yeah.
cold
So
rooms.
I'm in a 6 foot by 8 foot build space, and that's about it. So trying to fit everything. So I think I don't have an actual like full garage per se. It was like a carriage house kind of thing built onto the end of the house. You can't actually fit anything bigger than like a Fox body Mustang in it without the mirrors, and that's just fitting it in there. So I walled off the one wall area, the door area, just put a man door in there. But I'm kind of thinking I might just cut that thing in half, put a wall in, and then insulate it. That's the biggest problem. I used to do my Hot Wheels and my Tonkas out there, but it's uninsulated. So in the middle of January, I've got a little heater just working for everything it's got, keeping the workspace about 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the real truth. Super cold weather, super hot weather is not good for the kits that you have in your stash.
No.
It's not.
Exactly.
Especially
And
the
that's,
decals.
yeah. So I have everything down here. So I mean, the temperature's all constant and everything's great, but there's just kind of running out of room already, especially if I ever wanted to like 3D print or do anything like that. I have absolutely zero room to ever do that.
Buy more demons.
Yeah, I don't have. Right now, I'm running out of
Your house
stuff.
is 113 years old. Is definitely haunted.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Oh, it actually fit surprisingly well.
And Frank.
Gotta love Frank. What a guy.
I'm so glad
Love
he's
that
back
guy.
on
It is
YouTube.
so good to have him back. Exactly. I agree with you 100%, Jason.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so good to have him back. And now that he's back, you know, we talked to him. We're going to have him on for one of these builds like we're having Mr. Joe on tonight. And
Awesome.
I warn you guys in advance when we put out the I'll call it the e-flyer that Bruce puts out, which is awesome. But when you guys hear that Frank's coming on, you got to come on because that dude is going to make you laugh. He is so funny.
Make sure to tell him happy Honda days too.
Right? Listen, I just want him to catch up on his PR stuff. I got some people he needs to call.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Something about a green Cadillac.
When I saw his video, I was like, God, so good to have him back.
Yep. For sure. Yeah, I mean.
And then him telling us about his injury, I'm like, dude, that just listening to it, I'm like grabbing my shoulder going, oh, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt.
I actually have the exact same injury.
Oh, man?
Twice. Yeah.
I tore my rotator cuff from riding bulls, but what he's talking about is like things coming unsnapped, and now he's got the Popeye arm, and I'm like, God dang, that just.
Yeah, I don't know if I can show it in here, but yeah, it's one of the reasons I can't race anymore. That's why I kind of had to retire, and I can dig further into this. But I tore my rotator cuff, labrum, and bicep, and then that first surgery, they actually had to tie my bicep to my pec because I had torn it so far up here. And then the second time around, I basically undid that and tore the rotator cuff again, and they had to just cut the bicep tendon. So it's like it's popped. It's just there along for the ride. Like there's nothing left in that arm for real strength or anything.
Well, the other one that's got going through the shoulder stuff is Terry Wilson. He's recovering.
Oh, first 6 weeks.
Yeah, he's got some. He was telling me the other night the pain is really bad.
Oh yeah, the first 6 weeks of healing, especially, are hell. There were times I would be awake like 2-3 nights straight. I couldn't sleep because they want you to sleep like in a recliner with your arm strapped up like that.
Yeah.
And if your arm tries to slough back like this, like it just, yeah, it's miserable.
Hey there, Larry. How's it going, buddy?
Larry got him a new laptop, so he's back. Good to see him back in here.
Oh, did he
Right
get his
on.
laptop? Yay.
Now, talking about, certain, like I said, what I had was I dislocated my shoulder or, tore my rotator cuff from riding bulls. But I remember having to lay on the couch face down, put my hand on the floor, right? The couch is however high, 2 foot or whatever it is, and put my hand on the floor to take the pressure off of my shoulder to be able to get some rest.
Oh, it's, yeah,
The
miserable.
pain, I can't imagine what you guys went through that, but for me it was like 3 days, right? For you guys, I'm sure it was a lot longer.
Yeah, the first 6 weeks, and then they'll kind of let you, like, maybe try to lay in bed and do stuff like that. But yeah, it's a full. I mean, it was 6 months of recovery, and they threw me back to work, and within 3 months, I was out again. I undid everything they fixed.
Jeez.
Well, back in my bull riding days, if I dislocated my shoulder, I had 5 days to recover before I had to go to ride the next one. So.
Right.
It's good to be young. That's all I can say about that. It was good to be young. I couldn't do that now. I can hardly get out of my bulldozer now without. Oh, it hurts. My bones are creaking. I'm trying to get out just to get out of my bulldozer to go home.
Oh yeah.
It would be kind of funny to see you get up on a bull.
Well, I got some pictures I could show you.
No,
Can we get a mechanical bull down to Acme next year?
I'm saying now.
No, now would be fun. I think we just surprise him with a mechanical bull at Acme.
Yeah,
And
There you go. I'm
perfect.
sure. And Fred might be around in here. If he's not, then who knows? But I'm sure it's in Georgia. There's got to be a mechanical bull. You can't go anywhere in Georgia and not have a mechanical bull within 50-mile radius of you. So I'm sure there's one around there somewhere. It's Georgia.
Probably sell them at Costco down there.
Probably. Listen, Jason, was it you that talked about the horse that bucked you off and you kept getting back on? You put another 25 cents in it. That would be me.
Yep,
I can handle that bull. That the one at the Costco. I can handle that.
I was so glad that the store manager came out and unplugged it because my foot was stuck in the dang deal,
Stuck
man.
in the stirrup.
I was in trouble.
Right. He's pulling me down.
Cliffy's probably Googling bull riding competitions down there right now so that we can go next year. We're announcing this now. We're doing a live from a bull competition, and Mike's going to get on there and show you how it's done.
We're going to cheer him on.
Listen, at 23, well, actually, let me rewind a little bit. By the time next year rolls around, at 24, when I hit the ground, I bounced and landed on my feet. At 54, I hit the ground, and I need 5 people to help me back to my feet.
No bouncy?
Mm-mm.
And with enough bourbon, you'll forget what age or where you were even at.
Yeah.
You won't even remember if you bounced or not.
Oh, I'll remember the next morning when I'm hungover and hurting all at the same time.
Right.
Like, this is extra pain. Yeah, you don't recover. You don't rehab as well as you used to when you were a kid. I can promise you that. I think everybody knows that one. But
true.
Yeah, that
I can attest to that.
That stuff hurts. I don't know how you do it, Tiffany. Right.
Yeah, I've done that too, Tiffany. Sometimes that's the only time I can get sleep is in the dang recliner.
Oh. After 2 tours, I hate recliners at this point.
I had 2 kids. The only way they would sleep was when I held them and I rocked him in the recliner all night long.
Yeah, my boy he had colic when he was little. When he got born, he had yellow jaundice, and then he got the colic real bad. Like it was bad. And his mother worked days, or excuse me, his mother worked nights, and I worked days. So I'd get home at noon, and his mom would go to work at like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was up with him all night long, rocking with him. We had a nursery in our double wide trailer because we were high class. Had a nursery out from the master, and I remember sitting in that rocking chair just trying to, get him as comfortable as I could make him. And dang, that sucked. Colicky kids and kids that can't sleep suck because then you can't sleep.
Yeah, it's the truth. Did you guys ever know that if you get the 67 MPC GTO, you get 6 sets of instructions?
Sweet.
6 sets of instructions.
Nice.
Did not know that. Did not know that.
Italian, Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, and English.
See, that thing's been around since Moby Dick was a minnow. That kit,
So
that mold in that kit has been around since Moby Dick was a minnow. So I'm guessing that's back when it was still popular.
Yeah.
And
so
again, it's not the GTO. It's not the MPC GTO. It's the MPC GTO shit.
Yes, it is. So if you guys want them, I'll give you autographed copies of these here.
Autographed copies.
Oh my gosh. No wonder the box felt so heavy. Was just the instructions?
Frank, gotta love Frank. He says that kit sucks in 6 languages.
He's not wrong.
Listen, you can't take any good advice from Godzilla. Did you ever did you ever watch his video where he talks about the kit that he was working on and he dropped it and then he went to get up and then he stepped on it? I'm like, damn, Frank, you can't be Godzilla in your damn model kits.
What? Oh.
And Frank, I'm going to give the generic thank you same generic thank you that Jason Hanscom gave you. Thank you for the gift because we don't talk about the gift.
We don't talk about
I got a nice gift from you.
Man.
Hey, Mike, take a breath.
What gift is that?
We don't talk about that.
First rule of the gift is we don't talk about the gift.
Yes. Wow. What did I get into?
The blue. That's what it was. That's when he was building it. When Frank was building in Porsches, he was supposed to do like 6 or 10, and he did 9 because he stepped on one.
Oh, that's right. He was the one that did all the Porsches.
Oh, dude, did you see them all?
Oh my!
Talk about it now. The video's out. Okay, we can talk about it now. The gift was his mod top that I got. Jason, you got one or no?
Yes,
Frank,
I did.
Or yeah, Bruce, did you get one?
Yes.
The mod top from Frank. Okay, we can talk about it now.
Yes.
Frank says we can talk about it. Frank came out with these really, really cool mod tops that Frank, correct me if I'm wrong, that you kind of created yourself. He didn't necessarily like the stuff that was out there, and he came up with a new one, and that they are absolutely amazing. So thank you for that, Frank.
Yep, they're beautiful.
They are
Especially as
beautiful.
a Mopar guy, I definitely want to do something with one of those mod tops.
I know
What are the
in
odds
my
it's going to be a
heart
Dusty or a Demon?
Probably will
I
be
know in my
probably be a dart.
There you
I
go.
know in my heart that AMC came out with one of those mod tops. I just know it. There's something in the back, but I can't find proof of it. But I know that they came out with one. So I'm still doing my research to find out what it was so I can make sure to put it on the right one. But I'm pretty positive the AMC had a Javelin or maybe an AMX that had a mod top on it. But if you Google it, you'll not see it straight away. I got to do some more research.
That works. I actually thought it'd be kind of fun to dig out one of those fuzz duster like the Volares and mod top it.
Yeah, you have one of those kits?
I happen to have one of those, but it's already earmarked for a different build. You have like a pallet or so I can get a hold of, or
A pallet?
you probably got a pallet of it, right?
I'll have to scan the QR code and check my inventory.
Well, I think Tim Kalankowitz has said it best. He is going to put a mod top on his GT. Oh, shit.
Love it.
There you go.
Welcome to the party, Tim. Good to see you, bud.
Hi, Jan.
AMC had a Bill Blast Matador with a paisley roof. Thank you, Frank. I knew it was out there, and I wasn't sure if it was the same, but thank you for that.
Man, did they do some weird stuff from AMC in the 70s?
They did. The 70s was just that. I mentioned some of that when I was asking everybody their opinion on my video for the Street Machine build.
Mm-hmm.
And, I said the same thing, back in the 70s, they had some crazy colors back then. People were, especially AMC, or not so much AMC, but Chrysler was famous for their different colors.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, AMC was the mutt. AMC was absolutely a mutt back in the day. They were using everybody's idea to try to promote their stuff.
Wherever they could get parts from.
Oh, my gosh. I had a 74 Matador X coupe that it had a Motorcraft ignition. It had a Delco steering column.
Yep.
International Scouts were the same way.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
I still own it, and it's actually Mama's rig, and I got to build it for her. As many of y'all know, or some of you don't know, I had a 1-to-1 shop where I built Jeeps. And I mean all kinds of Jeeps, not just the Jeep, but like all kinds of Jeeps. And I picked up a 79 Chief, which is arguably the first SUV. So it's got a Chrysler based. It's not a Chrysler 360, but it's a Chrysler based 360 in it. That's called an AMC 360. So it is a little bit different, but it's Chrysler based for sure. With a GM TH400 transmission, and then a Dana rear end, and then when you start going through it and looking at all the different stuff that's done, it's like, this is Ford, that's Chevrolet. I mean, they just whatever they could get their hands on, man, they were the mutt of the world.
Yeah, especially in the late 70s when they were broke. They really were scraping the barrel.
Joe, have you seen Tim Kalinkowitz's GTO build he's working on?
Yeah, I've been following along on that one.
That is
the multi-group build, which is kind of clever.
Yeah, it's a beautiful GTO that he's doing.
Yeah, this one, when I'm done, if I'm lucky, will look like I wasn't sniffing glue the whole time. I'm looking at this thing. I'm going, what was I thinking?
Are you using all the parts in the kit, or are you gonna kit bash it?
I am going to kit bash where I can. Like, I'll definitely dig through the parts box for a radiator. I got some Jay's resin Hurst style wheels to put on it, and I'm going to go with an Iceman Collections, the Pontiac Tri-Power LS.
Oh, nice.
Go resto mod with it. I'm going to leave the interior stock, I think, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, I think I got one of those GTOs the other week, but I think I'm going to do what like Chuck's done and Tim's done and kit bash it with that 67 Chevelle. Oh, yeah.
Pro Street it?
Yeah, Pro Street it. There's a black one up here in 1-to-1 that roams around the city. Just a beautiful car that's pro streeted. So I'd like to kind of mimic that one.
Heck yeah. Have you guys been following along with Fred Henry's USAC build?
No, I'm so far behind on my videos. It's unreal.
Me too.
If you're
Fred's
wanting
usually
to-
one of the guys I follow along with, but I haven't been following along with him.
I watched a
say,
little
if
bit of
you're-
one the other day.
If you're wanting to pro street, that is the best tutorial I have ever seen as far as back having a kit.
Fred, absolutely, especially if you can use that. That's kind of like the I hate this word, but I'm going to use it. That's the industry standard, right? If it can be back halved by a 67 Chevelle, Fred Henry knows how to do it because he's done it. I think one of the last
I think
videos
that
I
one,
saw
though,
him do.
He's using the MCV back half for that one.
Yeah, he's using a back half kit, a resin back half kit for the Dart.
Okay.
But I do grab a Chevelle or a Nova every time I go to Hobby Lobby. Sorry, honey, that's happening if you're watching.
Honey, you can mail those to Jason Klein at. No.
Right.
Do I need to make another poster? After a while, there'll probably be a poster of me at Hobby Lobby.
Have you seen my husband? Don't sell any models to him.
Yeah. You see this man keep bringing in posters. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting feeling walking into there on a weekday by myself.
Yeah.
It's actually good for your self-esteem. I mean, really.
Sometimes you go there and you see some of the ladies kind of looking at you like, why is there a guy in our craft store?
Yeah. Sometimes they're like, well, goodness, he's shopping for crafts. Let's follow him. Yeah. If you take a kid in with you too, oh boy. Yeah, you are eye candy. I felt like a piece of meat in there.
Terrible. Look at, he's a single dad. Oh, what a great guy.
Yeah, he's so doting.
Yeah, that's never happened to me. Not sure why.
Not sure why.
Well, they're probably because they know my girl. They're like, listen, she'll kill us and him, bury him out back, let the ants eat the flesh, and then put our bones in a jar.
Oh
I love my girl, but she scares me.
You know what? A certain amount of fear is healthy, Mike.
I understand that, but to the point that Jason and Bruce have figured out how they're divvying up my stuff collectively, I think that's a little overboard.
You want in, Joe?
Yeah, Joe, you
want
want to ask that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, we'll share with you.
Sorry, Mike. I'm in though.
Don't be sorry, I'll be dead. It won't matter to me.
Let me in on the Scale Finishes Eastern Warehouse there.
No
Well, he's
kidding.
got everything,
Now
so
you
you
gotta,
just
now you
take
gotta
your
fight
pick.
with Jason. Jason's after the paint. Bruce is after the kits.
Yeah.
We'll share.
Yep.
There's plenty.
There may or may not be an Eastern supply of Scale Finishes paint up there on the wall, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, they say that buying and collecting kits is a hobby all in of itself. I didn't realize that paint fit that category, but I mean, everybody collects whatever they're into.
Right. Well, actually, I go onto the Discord for the Model Insanity podcast, and Rob Riv, which is a great guy. I love Rob, and he and I go back and forth all the time. But he just found out that I've only been back in the hobby for what now amounts to 2 years. And he literally called me out. He's like, wait a minute. Because Matt was on there. Matt from Lucas C was on there. He's like, wait a minute. Wait. When I told him that, I was telling the story about being back in for 2 years. And Rob was like, wait a minute. all those kits behind you. Because at the time, you know, when I do my videos, you can see the kits behind me. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
all those kits behind you, and you've only been back in the hobby for 2 years. What the hell? I'm like, listen, you know, I bought all that stuff because it was stuff I couldn't afford when I was a kid. And Matt was like, he owns a business. I said, not anymore. I quit drinking to be able. Well, I say quit drinking. That's not entirely true, but because BG will call me out on that one. But I don't drink like I used to, so I can afford to buy this stuff.
Right.
Your
So
storage.
that paint was the same way. I mean, I love Scale Finishes paint. I've had a lot of awesome good luck with them. And Joel, or no, I'm sorry, not Joel. Joel, who's our Iceman guy, he's great too. But Jameson has actually been on the show, and he's just what a great guy. And you want to support these guys that are.
Oh,
A lot of
yeah.
people
I
get this.
was,
A lot of
yeah,
people get
that
the
show,
misconception that there's some corporation and there's some giant. You know, they're not, man. They're guys that are just like us, right? You know, they're just like us, but they have a skill and they bring it to the hobby, and that's where the paint
yeah.
comes from.
Yeah, after watching the show you guys did with him, I was totally sold on that. And he's just down in Utah, so he's actually pretty close for me. So I just want to get a little more comfortable with this airbrush before I start ordering some paint. And I just hate to have it sit around down here necessarily yet. And
The thing is that I'll say this, Joe, is that with Jameson's product, you're just putting it right from the bottle to the airbrush, so you ain't got to worry about the paint, right? You ain't got to worry about the ratio. Yep. So
Bottle to the model.
that's going to help you learn the airbrush quicker, I think. If you had paint that's all ready to go, you can just focus on spraying. So I got to answer
And
a
that's
question
how
here.
and that's how
I'm
I
sold
found him
on that.
originally.
I found it old in that master pack that he's the master box that he's offering just to kind of jump in. So,
Dude.
Yep. So
I
Tiffany
got
here.
one.
Tiffany asked about the shipping of paint. Tiffany, for me, I don't ship paint any colder than 35 degrees because I don't trust it freezing. So if your area gets that cold, then I wouldn't ship paint.
Order some paint.
Yeah.
I better hurry up and order some paint.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, it seemed like it's a really killer deal doing that master box, and I thought, yeah, I should just jump in.
I just bought one of those myself, and be sure you can use your Outlaw 10 paint code, or Jason. I think Jason and Bruce now have a code too.
I don't have a paint code with Jameson.
Eclectic 10.
Eclectic 10 or Outlaw 10. Either one will get you 10% off.
You got it.
But that's how I found him. You know, that's how I found Jameson, and we built a relationship after I started buying from him. When I got back into the hobby, I wanted to step up my game and get away from rattle cans. Nothing. I'm not mad at rattle cans. I just wanted to go to the next level, and so I started looking for ready to go paint, and I found MCW, which I love MCW, and I found Scale Finishes. And when I reached out, you know, and bought some stuff from him, then I reached out to Jameson. Him and his wife are just some great people, and they're super supportive, and they're just good people in the hobby. And I'm like, you know, that doesn't mean I don't buy Tamiya. That doesn't mean I don't buy, you know, splash paints and the MCW stuff. I still like their stuff, but Scale Finishes is the stuff. Is the good stuff.
Yep, paint makes terrible ice cubes. It really does.
Yeah. Well, I should probably hurry up and do that because we're getting to that time of year where the weather's going to start consistently doing that. So.
Yeah, I ordered from
Jameson
and MCW, and now I got another order from Jameson that should be coming this week, I think.
But that master box you were talking about, Joe, I just got mine maybe a couple weeks ago, and I need to do a video on it. Awesome stuff. What a great deal. Great deal. And I just let him pick the colors or whatever. I don't know if you can or cannot pick your own colors, but
That was going to be my
the
question: is if you can pick your own or not.
that's going to be a question for him. I didn't
Oh,
because I let him
yeah,
pick it, but he also knows me, right? So I got a lot of
right.
Chrysler colors, and I got a lot of like AMC colors and all that stuff. But
He
you may
can
want to
he
reach
can
out to
work and
him,
figure out what you don't have.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. We had that conversation when he was on. He's like, Mike, I don't know what to gift you anymore because you have everything. And I don't. I don't have everything. He has so many different, really, really cool colors.
the other thing, Joe, is that he will custom make colors for you, which I'm sure MCW probably would too, but I think
Mhm.
he's ready to go. I mean, he's got all the stuff in the background. He's got all the codes, everything. So I sent him some pictures of a 1-to-1 car that I'm making into a model here, and he matched the color. So I'm just itching to see this color that he made for me. So
Oh, heck yeah. So yeah, I'm to the point. I've got about enough aerosol stuff lying around here to finish up what I have in the queue, but I'd like to really start seriously getting into the airbrush side of things. It seems like you can really tell the difference, especially when you're on your small parts, airbrushing versus brush painting. And
the detail, because you're laying it down so much more thinner that you're not absorbing all the small details in your body and your parts.
Exactly.
And again, nothing against rattle can, but once you step to a not step to an airbrush, not necessarily step up to an airbrush, but step to an airbrush, it opens up. Like if you want to do a 1967 Ford Mustang in its original color, you can actually
Right.
get that paint code. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between rattle cans and like I said, I'm not judging anybody or passing judgment, but that's the level that I'm talking about, right? You can actually get a Hemi orange.
Yeah.
You
Right.
can get a Hemi orange in a rattle can, but when you spray it on that motor, now you've just lost all your detail because of the way it comes out. It's
Oh, yeah.
made. It's not made for what we do. So doesn't mean it doesn't
Right.
work. Just means it's not made for what we do.
And to that point, the cost side of things, if you go down to your parts store, you find somebody who will mix you an automotive paint to match and they'll put it in the full size rattle can. That's like $35 for one can.
Yeah.
But it's a huge can, so a bunch will go to waste. When I was doing Tonkas, a lot of the colors I could match in powder coat because I used to powder coat them all. But a handful of them, the only way you could get it was to get that correct color. The last one I did, I restored a truck for my wife, and it's 1957 Ford Seafoam Green. It was $37 for one aerosol can. So 2 cans in, and you've got an airbrush.
Yeah.
And that's the argument that I'll make with not just Rust-Oleum. I'm not picking on Rust-Oleum, but I'm just saying to the rattle can guys. They're like, oh well, I can buy this rattle can for I don't know the numbers. We'll say $12.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna buy that one rattle can for $12 and paint one body with it. Now, if you're gonna paint, let's say Ford Blue, right? You're gonna paint every model that you do Ford Blue, and you can get all 5 bodies done in that Ford Blue, and you can make it lay down and look just as good. Let's just say hypothetically, you can make it look just as good as. Then good for you. You got 5 Ford Blue models. Well, most of us aren't doing Ford Blue on 5 models. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means if you add up what you spent on those, let's just say that you use a rattle can per kit, right? And you add up the money you spent. If you do the long term, you're going to save money the other way. You really are.
Yeah.
Even with your 1 ounce, 2 ounce bottles, when you start buying paint, you're going to save money in the long run. But I get it. The rattle cans are easy. They're fast. They're quick. I'm not mad at them. I'm just saying, really, really, really do your math because it doesn't add up.
Right. Even for me in a small town, I don't have access to even a lot of the hobby paints. But yeah, it's still smarter to go ahead and mail order and let it show up and do it that way instead.
And the hobby paints are even worse than the what I'll call hardware store paints, because they're charging you for enough to do maybe a kit and a half. They're charging you more than what you would, So if you add that number up, but again, I'm not taking anything away from those guys. It's easier, it's quicker. I get it.
Yeah.
But if you'll just make that leap, don't be afraid to make that leap and learn something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I plan on playing around with this airbrush a lot this weekend and just kind of getting comfortable messing around with some stuff. I might actually do the GTO all with airbrush.
There you go.
So if it's a disaster, I can blame the kit.
There you go. See, it's a good plan.
Yeah, the fit and finish is so horrible that the paint won't even look good on it. I'm kidding.
Remember, LA Awesome takes everything off.
Right?
That's true.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
Or for those other people like Purple Power.
I'm a Purple Power guy. There, guys, if you hadn't noticed, there goes the neighborhood.
Hey,
radio voice.
Oh my gosh. Who left the
Billy
door
Strange
open?
is in the house. Mr. Golden Radio Voice is here. Have you all heard that guy talk?
Yes.
Like he should be on like the nightly news. He's like Ted Koppel. Hello and welcome. Actually, we were on a Discord the other night where he was introducing the mud bogs, or not the mud bogs, the monster truck show. He said, you only need the edge of your seat. He was just going off. It was so funny. Welcome to the party, Billy.
Yes, Billy should do motivational speaking for model builders.
Yeah.
We got to get him on the show, guys, because we'll just all shut up, even including me, which I know that's really not very difficult for me. But
what,
Billy? I got a short track up here in Montana that's going to need an announcer if you want to come cover, so I can spend more time in here. Three races and a demolition derby. That's all I need out of you.
You certainly do motivate people. Yes, you do.
Yes.
Yes, you do. But somebody said something earlier. Larry, I agree with you that Tamiya is really, really good stuff if you cut it 50-50 with unicorn tears. I've had good luck laying it down as well. But again, that's an airbrush thing, And like I say, the spray guys, and Jason's my mentor, right? Jason from Blue Ox Model Shop, and he doesn't like an airbrush. He has them, but he prefers not to use them. And dude's winning top shelf awards with his body stuff.
I also feel like Jason might be the exception to the rule.
In his defense, he is using hobby generated paint. Like he's using the Tamiya spray paint that is made for the hobby,
And the biggest thing is his prep work, his level of prep work.
Yes.
And most people won't even wash a body. They'll just throw it on and start going to town on paint. And then if things don't turn out, then it's the paint's fault. And it's like, did you wash your hands? You just get done eating a chili dog, grab the body, go, man, paint won't stick to the door. I can't figure out why. Stupid paint.
No wonder the damn thing wouldn't stick. I had a chili dog when I was painting that sucker.
I was eating paint and had the same problem.
Here's the thing that I just to throw it out there. How many people feel like I'm going to make sure I word this question correctly. How many people feel like when they open a kit, they have to wash the parts to get the mold release off of?
I wash the body. Well, I used to, except now that I'm actually, because I used to not sand the body ahead of time, which I'm learning it makes a huge difference to go ahead and wet sand the body. I didn't worry about any of the other parts, but I would find every now and then that like a flat surface, like a roof or a trunk, the paint wouldn't lay down very well. And so I always figured that was probably the case. once I started actually wet sanding, there was no need to really wash it after that.
Yeah.
Now the flip side or the caveat to that would be resin bodies. Like you gotta wash a resin body, in my opinion.
Yep.
Because those things, I was trying to mock one. I did my video for What Did You Buy Wednesday, and I was just trying to take a little bit of putty, like poster putty, to hold the grill in place to take a picture, and I couldn't get that to stick to anything on that body.
No.
Until I went and washed it with some dish soap and water, and then everything worked just fine.
So my argument is, back in the day, way back in the day, back probably before any of us were old enough to build, at least in this cam, there's some older fellows on here that that spray or that release that they needed is non-existent anymore. It's like built into it. So now resin bodies obviously may be different, and I don't pretend to know about that, but we always say, well, you said you learned to sand it. I don't wash them when I take them out of the kit, but I will, sand them like you said, wet sand them. Then you have to wash them and clean them up. Now, I don't use Dawn dish soap anymore. I use a thing called Clean Prep, and it's basically an automotive. It's like an alcohol. It's just an automotive prep cleaner. Just to get what the work that I've done, like my fingerprints and my oil. I think Billy said chili dog greasy fingers. I'll wipe that all off before I paint. But there's a difference between washing it before you, right when you take it out of the kit, or before you paint it. I think you should definitely prep. Part of your prep surface should be cleaning it before you paint it, but not necessarily cleaning it just because it came out of the kit.
Yeah, right out of the box, I don't wash them necessarily. Kind of depends. I guess like if you're like the Getting Started series that I'm doing with my son, we washed that body out of the box, not because we were going to paint it or anything. I just wanted everything kind of clean to start with for him to kind of work with. But yeah, I'm kind of learning that it's really not as necessary as it. I mean, it used to be drilled in our heads, especially when we were, in our teens and younger, like, gotta wash everything. And so that was like the first step. But yeah, I'm learning it's not as critical as it once was. Like
I think Billy hit the nail on the head. If you're listen, everybody builds their own way, but I agree with Billy in that I white glue everything first. No paint, white glue everything together, and then tack it or whatever you got to do, and then make sure everything fits. Even with the custom work, you tack it and you figure out what you need to do. So if you have to make adjustments, then you go from there. And then once it's once you're putting down the super glue, or once you're putting down your tester's red glue, whatever glue you use, and you're making it solid, then you can go from there. But Billy's absolutely right. You test fit it once it's where you want it, then wash it, and then now it's ready for paint. But when you wash it, don't grab it, and be like greasy chili dog fingers. Right now, put your gloves on and paint it and set it down. If it's not ready for paint, then don't worry about it. Wash it prior to painting.
I like what Tim said. He says Earl Scheib didn't wash anything, and it worked for him.
Exactly.
That's a good
He also told you not to wash it.
It looked like he had that's how Earl Scheib came up with the first rhino lining or textured paint.
Textured.
He was a trendsetter. They didn't care. They just sprayed it over.
He was a trendsetter, and he didn't even know it.
Exactly.
And in my hobby and everything else, the amount of vehicles that I have painted with tractor enamel.
Oh, especially with dirt cars.
Yeah, say
right.
that. Just take a gallon of tractor enamel, throw some hardener and some naphtha in it, and just let it rip.
That's it.
Still love the smell of tractor paint in the summer.
That's one of those 50-50 cars. Looks good at 50 feet away or 50 miles an hour.
Doesn't matter. At the end of the night, it's going to have so many wrinkles in it.
Oh, yeah. the nicer it was to start, the more apt you were to get hit early.
Yeah, because everybody, hey, there's a new bullseye for us to chase.
Like, hey, he got best paint for the night. Cool, target.
Tim said, "Rub-a-dub-a-dub." Everybody's getting in Frank's tub. Okay, Tim, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you get in Frank's tub. I've talked to him, and he's a good PR guy, but I'm not getting in the tub with him.
Just wipe your feet off before you get in, guys.
Right?
Good night, Larry. Have a good night.
That's what. That's
Hi,
what.
Larry.
That's one. Let's take it next one again. No. Yeah, that just so you guys know, and we're not going to be on next Thursday, right, Bruce? We're not going to be on next
Correct.
Thursday. That's Thanksgiving. So this will be the first week since we started that we're actually not going to be on Thursday nights. So because it's Thanksgiving, so we hope everybody enjoys their time, their Thanksgiving time, and be thankful for all you have, and thankful for the hobby and the people that you
Man, we
enjoy
gotta
in
watch
it.
Cowboy Giants?
No,
Really?
I don't know who you're going to watch on Thursday night.
that's why we're doing the gobble gobble turkey shoot build.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to talk about that? We can bring that up too.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to hear what you guys
For
got
sure.
planned there. Like what high impact Mopar color will your tank be, Jason?
F8 green.
Beautiful.
That what a great segue. You guys are awesome. The turkey shoot build. If you guys are not familiar with the turkey shoot build, that is hosted by I think the Mount Mansfield Model Club started it, but the Model Insanity podcast is kind of took the ball and run with it. Those are great friends of ours. You heard me talk about Rob Riv. We had Rob Adams on here. He's a member of that show. You guys go check out the Model Insanity podcast and then get their link from their webpage. And also, our very good friends, our car centric, very good friends, the guys that we love. And we might possibly be on there in the future. Just saying. The Scale Model Car podcast will also be holding a Discord for the turkey shoot. So basically, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. The turkey shoot is you kind of build something outside of your wheelhouse, right?
Yep. Something brand new, of course, and then they would like to see you do something out of your comfort zone. So I think it's a great thing. You might see some of these armor guys doing cars. You don't know until you get into the build. And then for like us, I'm a car guy, so I'm going to do something armor. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think so too. And definitely, if you're car centric and you don't know about the Model Insanity podcast, then go check them out. But if you're car centric and you don't know about the Scale Model Car podcast, then shame on you. Go check them out. That's Matt, Jason, Chuck, and Mr. BG. You guys go check them out. They're going to be hosting a deal as well. So you get on the Discord. Doesn't cost a dime. Just put the app on your phone or on your computer or however it works out, and go check them out. And the Discord is great. We've talked about Discords before, as far as meeting people and getting into new stuff, and just like you can go on there and you never know who you're going to run into, right? Because you never know who's going to be on there. But if you guys aren't familiar with it, then night, Mark. But check it out, man. It's really cool. I'm actually going to do a 1/72 tank. I'm going to build a tank for the first time in my life. I've never built a tank. the closest thing to an airplane that I've ever built was the eggplane build that I built. But I'm going to do a tank. I mean, I want to do something different, right? These guys have influenced me and helped me along and gave me some perspective, and I'm excited about it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds like it's going to be a blast.
It is.
Kind of bummed that I'm going to miss it.
We're kind of bummed you're going to miss it too. we were kind of counting on you keeping us up all night while we were in the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock hour.
Oh my God! Except I have to work Friday. That's going to be brutal.
Oh,
I got to work on Thursday and then work on Friday.
God, there goes that game plan. I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Oh, maybe I'll just hang out on the Discord. Just I'll just kind of help motivate. How about that?
There you go.
Well, as long as me and Matt don't end up being on the Discord at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and Matt uses to me a thin cement as his decal solution, I think I'll be all right.
Oh
That's
my gosh!
right. When he did that was with the 48-hour group build.
Yes, he did. Yeah, during the 48-hour group build, and it was goodness. I was trying to catch up, and of course, 4 o'clock my time is like 1 a.m. 4 a.m. my time was like 1 a.m. his time, and he made a video and whatever. And then as soon as he got done making the video, he's like, I gotta get this thing together. He had already boogered up one side, and he's like, I'm just gonna show this side, and da-da-da-da. And then he went to lay that decal down, and he used that to me a thin cement, and where he thought he was using Mark Fit. He was up on the roof. Had to call him off the roof.
Hate when that happens.
Oh my gosh.
Mr. Mark, again, thank you so much for showing up tonight. We appreciate you. Mr. Mark, I know he said he's got to bounce, so he's out, but hopefully he'll get involved.
Mark,
Maybe he'll
Mark
do something different.
and Mark Batson.
Good night, gentlemen.
Night, Frank.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've
Well,
already.
it is an hour and 38 minutes into it. I think that we've been doing these.
Man.
Thanks to Rob Adams, we've been doing these 2-hour deals, but
it didn't feel like it, guys. Honestly,
I know, right? That's what happened last week too. Even though we were doing the garage talk thing, we ended up going 2 hours last week too. But here we are drifting into our second hour now. But
night, Kevin.
Night, Kev.
Night, Kevin.
Night, Kevin.
Try to
start doing like telephones,
Oh, nice.
What?
Billboard Builds. What's Billboard Builds' name?
Chet.
Chet?
Chet.
Okay.
Chet.
Nice to meet you, Chet. He's going to do a Corsair. He says he's thinking about painting it pearl midnight blue.
Right on.
There you go.
Sure,
But y'all be sure to check that out. Check out the Turkey Shoot on both of the podcasts, and we're gonna get involved in theirs. We're gonna kind of piggyback on theirs. We can advertise it here. I'm sure Bruce knows how to. Bruce, you know how to share that. We'll share it, but we're not going to do something. We're not going to do anything individual for ours. But maybe next year, when we grow a little bit and we get bigger, we can maybe do something like that.
Hey, Leon.
What's up, Leon?
Hey, Leon.
Hey, Leon.
Leon, did you get my message?
All right, guys, do we want to drag this on for another 2-hour show, or we want to go ahead and dip out?
We can call it the night. I got to get up early anyhow, so.
I agree.
Oh, yeah,
I agree. Well, Joe, thank you so much for being on our show, man. Tell everybody who you are. Again, remind everybody who you are, what your channel is. We want to be able to share that and maybe get you some new subs.
Heck yeah. My name is Joe. This is the Big Sky Model Workshop. You guys will see me bouncing around, especially on Wednesdays and Sundays, but definitely stop on by, say howdy, leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and enjoy the show.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I enjoy
we want to tip our hats. I know I speak for Jason and Bruce when we say we want to tip our hats to you, Joe. You have come a long way in just a little bit of time, man. Good for you. Good for you.
I appreciate it. I can't even explain it. It's just I've just been winging it off my phone.
I can. Great content. I can sum it up in 2 words. Great content. You're bringing a lot to the hobby. You bring a lot of positivity to the hobby, and your content is awesome. And we are blessed to have you on here. I know I speak for Jason and Bruce. And honestly, it was Jason. Jason was like, "Hey, we got to get this guy on here," and he was 100% right. You bring so much to the hobby, and you're so positive, and that's exactly what we're about. We want positive people doing positive stuff.
Oh man, I appreciate that, and that means a lot. I mean, a huge thank you guys.
You're welcome.
I'm honored. Thank you for having me on. This is awesome. This has been
our pleasure to have you here.
Our privilege.
Yeah, Leon, I tried sending you an email. So try emailing me. It's in the about section of my channel. I don't know if it's going in your spam folder or.
Don't use his Hobby Lobby corporate email.
Yeah, don't use the Hobby.
Right, because that gets kicked to spam every time. So
yes, I have that account flagged. Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, Tiffany. We agree 100%. Well, all right, Joe. We let you sign off, and then Bruce. Who are you, and where do you come from?
I'm Bruce from Bruce's Eclectic World. I'm the guy that pushes all the correct buttons occasionally.
When his fingers ain't glued together.
Yeah. But then it's
Jason?
I'm Jason from Klein Race Car Designs. I appreciate all you guys coming in here tonight. The chat looked awesome. Thanks for making that thing move. Thanks for showing up. We're having a great time doing this show, and we want to eventually get to try and get all of you great people on the show and do a build night. I think that's going to be a lot of fun for the whole community, spreading some positivity. So,
yeah.
Absolutely. I'll echo what Jason said. We love all you guys in the chat. Joe, again, thank you so much for being on here. Thank you for what you bring to the hobby. Your positivity and your coolness is just so awesome. We appreciate all what you guys do. Thank you again to everybody in the chat. And yep, it's the mouth of the South, the old scale model outlaw, saying good night to everybody. Y'all be good or be good at it. And we'll talk to you later.
goodbye, everybody.
Night, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Peace.